Good morning to all students. Today we are entering into the separate segment of the paper third of the LLM first semester, which is not only useful for those students who are pursuing the LLM first semester, but the students who are at present in the second semester and fourth semester. These topics are very relevant and useful for those students also. I will start my lecture which relate to the independence of judiciary, stress and strain on the system of justice delivery in India, as it has written by some of the jurists that stress and strain, and that is written in your syllabus also. It is your duty where this word has been taken by the syllabus committee, especially of CDC committee, Curriculum Development Committee of the UGC. The syllabus is based on the Curriculum Development Committee recommendation, most of the component. And this is not the word given by any judiciary relating to the stress and the state. And the judiciary various times use the word the independence of the judiciary. In the first part of this lecture, there are some very useful term which are very essential to disseminate among the student relating to the independence of judiciary and the supremacy of law and separation of power in between the three organs as we have discussed yesterday. What are these words? These words are number one. It is very essential. Please try to understand and keep in your mind that Rex is lex. R-E-X. Rex is lex. Lex means law. Rex means crown. This is the concept of the Great Britain of 16th century and in the beginning of the 17th century. Rex is lex. The second is that there is no law beyond the law. There is no law beyond the law. It means the rule of law. Whatever is going on in a democratic system of the society, there is a supremacy of law. The third is who will judge the judges. This is also the, if you will see the Lord Danning's observation about the judging of the system of the judiciary, that is also the relevant term. Therefore, rex is lex, there is no law beyond the law. And third one is the judging the judges. These are the concepts which have gives the new ideology about the independence of judiciary. Then after expressing the basic things which should be started by the student in the answer copy also, either in the LLM or in other competitive examination, that after that there should be some breakup of the topic in the mind always, and that breakup is also related to the independence of judiciary. This is called the basically of the historical background and judicial independence concept as a system of the society. This is the first one. Second one is the related to the development of the judicial independence in the various countries, including India. Third one is the situation of the Australia, America, Canada, Singapore, and other countries where there is a democracy. Because in democracy only there is the possibility of separation of power, distribution of power among the organs of the state, and the judiciary is one of the organ of the state. But at the same time, the creation of judiciary is the constitution makers of the various countries, even if in the USA. And before that, there was a concept in the Great Britain also. Now, after that, the judicial interpretation or judicial approach. This is the one of the facet and segments which requires to be discussed with reference to or in context of the independence of judiciary. Judiciary has developed this approach of independence of judiciary because in a in the same world, if you will see the Indian Constitution, there is no word, but separate Article 50 is there. But there, this is also the mandate to the Parliament for making the law to separate the judicial adjudication system from the administration. This is the mandate for making the law. But the independence word is not used by the constitution makers in the written constitutional system of the democratic country where there is a democratic government and the constitutional government. It is developed by the judiciary. Therefore, this is the segment of the that judicial approach. This is one of this one, and that the concept of the why this independence of judiciary is essential, why it is necessary, and what are the components, how it can be analyzed that if there will not be any independence of judiciary, then what will happen? These are the concepts. If we will see, there's some act enacted by the Britishers when they were in India relating to this criminal procedure code and others. There were some combined jurisdiction of the administrative authority and the judiciary also. But in new act 1973 act which came into force from 1st April 1974, it has been separated from that aspect of the separation of power, on the aspect of the separation of power. Therefore, one of the controversial aspect which will require to be discussed, that is the aspect of the National Judicial Commission as amended the constitution by the parliament in 99th amendment is there, 2014 is there, and that was declared by the Supreme Court null and void, unconstitutional. Whole act is declared that unconstitutional, and the amendment which was made in the constitutional provisions, that is 140, 124 A, B, C, and it is after that 117 and various articles has amended by this 99th amendment of the constitution. This was declared the unconstitutional. Constitutional provision also the unconstitutional. That is also the approach which requires to be discussed here, and then conclusion and what is your comments over it. This is also the another aspect. Then come into this historical aspect, because the time is very limited, and that's why the marathon aspect requires to be discussed with the help of some legal provisions and illustrations of some other country. At the same time, the provisions of the constitutional law, judgment of the courts, and the provisions of some written constitutional system in as existing in other countries. These are the aspects which should be discussed and which is required to be discussed here. What was the system? Why I had used this word that that Rex is the Lex? Where from this quotation had emerged? What is the meaning of this quotation? And how this quotation has been originated? And this was the system of Great Britain. In the Great Britain, there was the doctrine of pleasure, and doctrine of pleasure means unless the crown shall not dismiss any judges appointed by the crown, appointed by his majesty, they will do their function, or they will do their act or duty according to the wish and the pleasure of the crown. It means the Rex is the source of the judiciary in the Great Britain. Crown was the source of the judicial system in the Great Britain. Therefore, there was the doctrine of pleasure. And doctrine of pleasure says that whatever the Rex will say, that will be the law. Rex means law. And that was the law in the Great Britain. And thus there was the power of the crown to dismiss the judges in any time. In any time. That was the in beginning of the 16th century, and that 16th century which has developed the Rex, R-E-X, is the Lex, L-E-X. These are the words. Lex is the Latin words, and it is being used for the purpose of the law made by the human being. Lex is made by the human being. If we will enter into another aspect of jurisprudence, jus and lex, there are two words. And in A.K. Gopalan case also, these two words are used by our judiciary, our Supreme Court. And just means that natural law, and lex means the human made law. But I am not entering into that part because the time is very limited. Whenever the classes will be there after this lockdown, and there are the chances of this going on of this lockdown period, then certainly I will discuss in detail. Now, what was happened there in Great Britain after the development of this one? In the England there was one 1701 case. One case was very famous, and in that case, what were the issues? Issues were to use the money and to appropriate the money with whether without the permission of the parliament, because here in constitutional system in India you can say that money bill, finance bill, and to approve it by the parliament, consolidated fund, public account, and the contingency fund, we have discussed a lot about it. And that is the without the permission of parliament, no single penny can be used or appropriated for the anyone, any purpose. But in 1701 there is a case, and in that case what has happened that the uh, money appropriated by the executive, because the Rex was the head of the executive, without the permission of the parliament, and that was challenged. And in that case, Siemens case, it is a famous case of the Siemens case, and in that case, the court upheld the power of the Rex Crown, that Crown can do it without the permission of Parliament, and the majority judgment was there. Therefore, one of the judge developed one concept which he has said that Rex is lex. Whatever the Rex will say, that is itself a law. There is no need of any parliamentary system to approve it or to disapprove it. That was the time, and the it means the judiciary was mixed with the executive in the Great Britain in the 17th century. But later on, one act was passed by the parliament because of this effect of all these laws and the effect of this activity, and that was the Settlement Act. Settlement Act, and in that Settlement Act of this Act of Settlement 1701. After this, that was the 1616. There was also the Justice Coke was somehow dismissed in 1660. He was the judge of the King Bench and dismissed without any ground by the crown. And then there was the public opinion that there should be some law, and ultimately in the year of the 1701, a Settlement Act was passed by the British Parliament for the purpose of the appointment of judges, dismissal of judges, and their powers. At the same time, there is some immunity. If law has made by the parliament, then crown can do no wrong. Means crown has no power to interfere into the law passed by the parliament, because the assent was given by His Majesty, and His Majesty was the part of the indirectly the parliament, because the assent was given. And the same is the position in India. The president is the part of the parliament also for giving the assent to the bill. In this way, the law has enacted in that, and the purpose of the law was to lay down certain procedure for removal, for appointment, for functioning, for power of the judiciary in the Great Britain. That was the original point in the Great Britain, and thus the Great Britain's system says that the somehow the attempt has made by the parliament to separate the judiciary from the executive. And the independence means the separation of judiciary from the other organs. And other organs, you are very much aware about the other organs. This is the very little answer. Yeah, that is the legislature and the executive. Therefore, so that they can administer and they can deliver, they can decide the matters which are before the court independently, fairly, justly, and reasonably in the interest of the justice. In the interest of the justice. World is in the interest of the justice, not in the interest of the public. That is another aspect. Public, that may be, I will discuss the second part of PIL, that may be in the interest of the public. But here, the component for the independence of the judiciary to protect and to preserve and to promote the concept in the democratic country of the independence of the judiciary is for the purpose of the protection of the rights of the people, but in the interest of the justice. And that was there. Then why judiciary? This is one of the object. The another is that if there will be the mixed system of the executive with the judiciary relating to the performing of justice delivery system. What will be the consequences? Consequences will be there. A person is performing the duty as a executive head or as a executive officer is also sitting in the court. It means the act which was done by that executive officer or the person who is performing that function is also deciding own matters. And this is the a judge means a judge. It is a natural justice, and we say that that is the nemo judex causa sua. Nemo judex causa sua. It means a judge cannot be sit as a arbitrator as a performing the function of the arbitration, or cannot decide the matter which has done by him already. That is called nemo judex in causa sua. A judge cannot be a judge in his own cause. This is called that one. This is the object. Second, judicial independence is the separation of power, as I have said, that from executive and the legislation. Judge, one way to promote the judicial system, another way to maintain the check and balance. Check and balance in the power, exercising of the power by the executive, legislature too. That is the duty of the judiciary to check it, to make the balance, and to go in that area. We state that this should be adopted by everyone for the purpose of everyone means for the every organ of the state for the purpose of the good justice delivery system in the particular country where there is a written constitution, democracy, and good governance, and for the expectation to fulfill the legitimate expectation of the people for the betterment of that society. And the hope and confidence of the people is always on the judiciary. And judiciary is the only organ who have the power to strengthen, to strong, and to increase the confidence on the good governance as well as justice delivery system. Because if the judiciary will be the accountable, if judiciary will decide the matter in a fair way, then the confidence shall increase into the system. That is the another way. One, promote to judicial and ideally and freely to decide the dispute. That is the next object of the independence of judiciary. And this is called, there is one aspect, the judicial discretion. Judicial discretion and judicial restraint. I have discussed this aspect when we were discussing law and the social transformation. How the judiciary can restrain own activity not to cross those areas which are beyond the scope of the judiciary and purely administrative, purely executive, and purely legislative. Although for this purpose, judiciary has laid down certain principles of the pure legislation and purely administration. But whatever is there, the judiciary can restrain and exercise the discretion by way of the independence of judiciary and enhance the confidence on the people. It is a liberal, it is possible in the liberal democracy where there is a liberal democracy. Liberal democracy means that every organ shall perform the own duty and go for the head and do some work about it. In the USA, this concept of the independence of judiciary has developed by some of the jurists. He was one of the active member participated in the constitution process in that country. He was the Alexander Hamilton. Alexander Hamilton in the year 1865 said that there should be the independence of judiciary and the functions of the judiciary shall be protected by everyone. And that was foundation, one of the aspect that independence of judiciary is essential for the foundation of rule of law. It is essential for in the democracy. In the democracy, otherwise the one organ will become the arbitrator, and one organ will become get the misuse of power, and that should not be permitted by any way. And thus the meaning, if you will see, that the courts and officers are free. Courts and its officers are free to do the work in the interest of the justice or in the development of the confidence over the people, so that the people of the particular democratic country shall have the confidence over the judiciary. That is very essential aspect, and some disadvantages are also there if time will permit. Otherwise, you can search the disadvantages. What are there the disadvantages? What I have said that in some countries, Australia, USA, and Canada especially, and the material is available about the United Kingdom, as I have highlighted. After the Settlement Act, and Justice Coke was removed from the King Bench by the Crown without any crown, and that if there will be the any apprehension of removal and no surety will be there, then the judges will not do the function in a with the free mind, in a free manner. And that's why you have seen that there is a need of independence of judiciary, not to interfere by anyone. Now, what are the areas when it can be said that there is a independence of judiciary? These are the areas of from very beginning. That area number one is the appointment process. Number two, their functioning procedure. Number three, the removal procedure. Number four, salary surety. Number five, the after the retirement benefit also there, and the age of the retirement, it is also discussed in many forums. The age should be enhanced. If we will see the USA, there is no age of retirement of the Supreme Court judges of the United States of America. Up to the time of the death, they can be a judge in the Supreme Court up to the time of the death. It means only they can be removed. Removal procedure is there, and for the removal there is a ground. There are the norm of all the removal, misbehavior and the incapacity. This is the ground, but they cannot be retired till the time of their death. It means they are the capable person. Every person is capable. Thus, what I am talking, the area after the retirement also. There should be the surety, so that they will not be the bias to deliver the judgment in a proper manner, in a reasonable manner, or in a justiciable manner, and they can apply always the judicious mind, because they are protected. They have the just like the bulletproof coverage as a judicial officers, and the honesty will be there. No need of any kind of the biasness from any side. that will be there. And in Australia, somehow the separation of power is there. As you have seen 1748 by opinion of that Montesquieu in France, but that is the concept in the Australia also. According to the separation of power, the judiciary is separate from the executive interference, and the legislature also. And in Canada, retirement age of the judges is 75 years. In USA, you have seen the no retirement age. In Canada, there is the 75 years of age. In Australia, the judges retirement age is 70 years. But in India, the 65 years. And there is the demand to increase the retirement of the judges so that they may do the work in a free mind with the surety and with the future safety in their life. The no retirement age, 70-year age, you have seen the in Australia, Canada 75 years of age. Therefore, this is the after retirement security or in that area. And in the USA, there is one um, life tenures of judges. As you have seen, the Courts Supplementary Provision Act is there, 1961, and some procedure and guidelines has been given by the Congress in that country, and therefore some law is there to regulate the system of procedure, basically of the procedure, and thus the independence of judiciary is a sine qua non. It is a Latin maxim, and that should be retained by you people in your mind. What indicates that it should be protected, it should be preserved. It is very essential. It is the need of the time. Sine qua non, sine qua non. It is very urgent, urgent. It is essential. It should be protected. Impartiality, for the impartiality of the judiciary, that should be there in every system of constitutional aspect. Judiciary is the protector of the constitution. Therefore, independence shall be there. And the Constituent Assembly was aware about it in India. Now come in India after Australia, summary discussion of this one, because online lectures cannot be delivered hours because I am not using this Google Meet and so on. And anyway, now the point is that the constitution makers in India, they were very much aware about the independence of the judiciary. Therefore, they have provided the constitutional system in the interest of the basically of the judiciary. The indication I have received. Then there are some cases in India also. Article 121 and 122 is very essential. 124 is very essential, and at the same time the 227 is very essential. Transfer of judges concept is required to be discussed. No interference should be there of the executive for transfer, but the matter shall go for that appointment. After the appointment controversy here, the Advocate on Records Association case of 2015, the guidelines has been given by the judiciary to develop such type of things for the protecting the independence of judiciary. Various times constitutional amendment 39 amendment has turned down by the court, and at the same time you have seen that some portion of the 25th amendment relating to this article 31 clause C, it has been turned down, and some portion of the 42nd amendment also turned down. In Minerva Mills case, you have seen that some portion of judicial review, and that some cases relating to this Schedule 9 also turned down by the Supreme Court, that it has said that if basic structure shall be violated by making the law, the court will interfere into the 9th schedule. Though the 9th schedule is a protective clause under the 31, if we will see the constitutional provisions, therefore the concept which has emerged and developed by the court in India are very one that is the one act is passed by the parliament for the inquiry misconduct. 124 clause 4 is very relevant, and go through that one. the misbehavior and misconduct and incapacity on the ground of this one, the judges can be removed from the post. But there is very difficult um, procedure to to remove the judge. Times some use the word the impeachment. The impeachment word is not here. Here is a removal of the judge. 124 clause 4 of the High Court judges and Supreme Court judges. This is a very difficult, and for that purpose there is one law made by the Parliament, and the name of the law is Judges Inquiry Act 1968. If any judge is required to be removed from the post as per the constitutional provision of Article 124 clause 4, for the procedure there is a separate law, and that law is called the Judges Inquiries Act 1968. It is a small act having the only 7 sections are there. Section 3, 1 and 2 is related name and definition. I am not entering in that part, and but you will search and you will read study of that one. But section 3 is relating to the procedure of investigation, how the investigation shall be done there. This is there. Appeal, the Parliament have some power to make the law. These are the some articles of the Constitution, and it has written Constitution makers that the Parliament shall make the law for the certain purpose, and for the purpose of the judicial review also. 137, if we will see judicial review power of the Supreme Court. These are the articles which are very essential articles to keep in your mind, because the time to time the questions may be asked by any examiners in the any forum, and these are the appeals 133, 134, 136. The Parliament has given to make the law. It doesn't mean the Parliament is going to interfere into the judicial procedure. No, this is the need of the ours. The Parliament is one side. As per the concept we have borrowed from the Great Britain, this is also the supremacy lies on the Parliament for making the law. But that law can be made by the Parliament for the some special system of the judiciary in India. As I have cited 1 to 1, we say that the Parliament cannot inquire into the any conduct of the judges relating to their business, except it is written under that 1 to 1, except the inquiry, as Inquiry Act says that 1968, inquiry relating to the removal of judge, that can be discussed. That can be discussed in the floor of the Parliament also by if the any member of the Parliament in the Council of State will place the resolution to remove any judge on the ground as laid down under Article 124 of the Constitution, then certainly that can be discussed. Otherwise, the conduct in which relate to or in context of the business of the judges of Supreme Court cannot be discussed anywhere. That is there. And then they list 77, entry 77 of list 1 of Schedule 7. If the Parliament have the power, the subject is enumerated there. One, Keshav Singh case is very such like the Keshav Singh case. You know that the UP Assembly has issued one the warrant to the judge of the sitting judge of the High Court, Allahabad High Court, and ultimately the court has stated that warrant of arrest. Therefore, the conflict in between these two are somehow. Then 99th Amendment of the Constitution 2014, which effect from the 13th April 2015. What was the provision? Provision was related to the appointment of the judges of the Supreme Court and the High Court by constituting a special kind of committee having the various members, and these members were CJI and the two senior most judges, law minister, two eminent persons who will be decided by the one committee consisting of the Prime Minister, Chief Justice, leader of the opposition, and a representative of SC, ST and backward classes. The committee shall recommend the two name of the eminent person, or not for purpose of becoming the judge, but for the purpose of the selection such committee. You can say the committee, special committee, who will recommend the name of the judges for the appointment in the Supreme Court and the High Court. That was challenged. That was challenged, and this was the unconstitutional declared by the court, and said that it is a it is interference in the independence of judiciary. 2015 case. It is very relevant case. Advocate on Records versus Union of India case, and the whole act has been declared unconstitutional, and some articles which has incorporated in the constitution, 124A, B, C, to 217 to 128, and the 222, 224, 224A, and 231 has declared unconstitutional. Therefore, the Supreme Court's judgment on this area is one of the leading judgment, and the reason was given by the Supreme Court. One of the most relevant reason relating to this aspect is basically of the violation of the independence of judiciary. That is one of the aspects, and other aspects were there. One forum was it has developed by the Supreme Court. One forum that there should be MOP. What is the MOP? Go through the MOP. MOP is a memorandum of procedure. Apart from this committee, there should be some MOP, and MOP has not been applied so far in the matters of the appointment of the judges of the Supreme Court and the High Court, and through the collegium system which has developed by the Supreme Court itself from 1993 is going to be in the practice, and this is being appointed by the judges and recommended with the collision. There are the senior most 5 judges are there, and depends on the Chief Justice of India to recommend the name to become the judge in the High Court and Supreme Court. Therefore, you have seen the consolidated fund is there, and the protective fund is there. For that purpose, the appointment of the officers and the staff of the judiciary shall be made, or appointment shall be made by the judiciary itself. But at the same time, the rules and regulation for its procedure, 145 you can see, 227 there is a supervisory power of the High Court also over all subordinate judiciary. Therefore, whenever that is judgment delivered by the Supreme Court in India for the protecting of the judiciary and strengthening the independence of judiciary, that was protected to the subordinate